Na pitanja urednika i voditelja Aleksandra Trifunovića u novoj BUKA TV emisiji odgovara visoki predstavnik međunarodne zajednice u BiH, gospodin Christian Schmidt. Intervju je rađen za vrijeme njegove posjete Banja Luci.
Gospodine Schmidt, dobrodošli u Banja Luku. Drago nam je što imamo priliku da vas intervjušemo u vašoj prvoj zvaničnoj posjeti Banja Luci. I pošto imate vrlo malo vremena, ja ću odmah krenuti sa direktnim pitanjima. Kako ste se osjećali danas u Banja Luci, pošto su poruke koje smo imali prilike da čujemo još od vašeg dolaska, bit ću poprilično direktan, one koje Milorad Dodik često govori da Republika Srpska, institucije Republike Srpske vas zvanično ne priznaju.
Yeah, thank you. First, the visit to Banja Luka was a very good one. I have had very good and intense discussions. I'm not relaxed, but I say, okay, I'm here and I'm existing, and I would just give the suggestion to the representative of the Republika Srpska that they, in the best of their people in this country, the entity as well works together with the High Representative, and so I'm sure this will come.
Vaš prethodnik je imao poprilično dug mandat, gospodin Insko, i on je bio taj mandat je bio poprilično relaksiran. Mi smo se u bosansko-hercegovačkim medijima govorili o tome kao da gospodin Insko ima jedan od najboljih poslova u zemlji. Praktično ne radi puno, a ništa se u zemlji ne dešava, niti on mora da reaguje ili slično. Vi ste došli u trenutku, vaš mandat počeo vrlo burno. Još prije nego što ste sjeli u svoju stolicu, vi ste mnogo, ljestvica te energije koju treba da uložite u svoj rad je mnogo veća nego što je nju imao gospodin Insko prije vas. Kako vam se čine ovi mjeseci, koliko ste u Bosni i Hercegovini, 3 mjeseca?
Sometimes the first 100 days are just to accustom to see what's going on, who is who. I haven't had the time. As somebody who has a lot of experience and not the need just to go to a relaxing place, I'm full of energy, and I understand that this is not only a place to sit and look around. So I am accustomed, and I will just contribute in the sense of the execution of the Dayton Agreement.
Svjesni ste da ste praktično u mnogo lošijem položaju od svojih prethodnika. Kada pričamo o prvim visokim predstavnicima, tada su pored te verbalne podrške zemalja koje podržavaju evropski put Bosne i Hercegovine i postdejtonski oporavak zemlje poslije rata, tu su bili vojnici koji su garantovali da će se odluke visokih predstavnika ispoštovati. Vi danas imate otvoreno negiranje u jednom dijelu Bosne i Hercegovine, u Republici Srpskoj, da će se bilo koja odluka koju bi vi pokušali da nametnute neće primjenjivati. Da li je to već sad unaprijed neki hendikep i da li ste vi uopšte mislili da koristite bonska ovlaštenja?
I think somebody said to me, look, if the task is easy, that's nothing for you. There's a challenge, and indeed, as somebody who knows this country since 30 years, the time before the war and after the war, especially in my responsibility as Deputy Minister of Defense for my country. So I know that things are going sometimes a little bit slowly, but there is a possibility to come on. I see that the High Representative, as a part, like you four, of the Dayton Agreement, is an ad hoc institution which should be replaced by the institutions of the state as they are. If it would happen normally, I think we would think about the next years and how to bring the transition. Now we have another situation that some people have obviously the interest of a dysfunctionality of the state. This brings me back, not back the times of Paddy Ashton, but it brings back the seriosity and the challenge for the international community, not only to report, but to try to contribute to a functionality of the state. My toolbox is known. I said I have things in the drawer. Best contracts are remaining in the drawer and are never read. If there's a necessity, and I would not exclude that there could be the situation that bond powers have to be looked on out of the drawer. But now let's wait and see and talk. I prefer, for example, the Constitutional Court to make decisions about legislative issues better than somebody like me.
Također ste rekli nekoliko puta da bi volili da izbjegnete, to ste i sad na neki način rekli, da izbjegnete bonska ovlaštenja da koristite, da bi voljeli da političari ove zemlje preuzmu odgovornost, ali da u nekom vašem kapacitetu one postoje kao mogućnosti da se nećete libiti da ih koristite. Međutim, moram vam postaviti ovo pitanje, negdje na samom početku mandata nije vam omogućeno da se obratite u Savjetu sigurnosti Ujedinjenih nacija, Vijeću sigurnosti. Da li to možda znači da ćete u stvari biti i uskraćeni za neku jedinstvenu podršku međunarodne zajednice u slučaju takvih rješenja? Na kakvu konkretno podršku međunarodne zajednice računate u svom mandatu?
I would assume that this is that they have the full support -1, and that there is a development in going on that nobody can not accept, for example, my report. Yes, due in the sense that we should not bring EUFOR Althea in a complicated position, was my decision to say, okay, so let it be written, my report, which is a very open, should I say blunt report about the situation. And I have the impression that this report has been more read and discussed than any report before. Maybe so I would say it's not about feeling content. There is a lot of way to be done and to work on, but we are on the way. And just denial is most times a sign of weakness. If I read what some politicians, especially one, who every day talks about what he does not want, blaming, insulting anybody, I would say, please start reflecting what the people really want to know. They want to know where's their job, how do they get a safe environment for their social context, and not just only about the solution of the country. So the best decision is not a decision of the High Representative, but a decision of the voters.
Kada pričamo o običnim ljudima koji žive u Bosni i Hercegovini, često se stiče utisak da su oni potpuni višak kada se radi o pregovorima međunarodne zajednice s našim političarima. I da se samo ponekad pomenu ljudi koji žive u ovoj zemlji i da se sami ljudi koji žive ovdje zbog toga često osjećaju obeshrabreno, da su izgubili nadu. Vi ste primijetili nekoliko puta u intervjuima koje ste davali da mladi ljudi odlaze odavde i da vi želite da se to zaustavi. Da li je uopšte moguće postići ovakvom rasporedu snaga na terenu da obični ljudi, oni koji imaju najviše problema i koji najviše ispaštaju zbog potpune, da tako kažem, nefunkcionalnosti zemlje u kojoj mi živimo, da li postoji neki čarobni štapić, da li postoji način na koji bi se oni mogli uključiti u svakodnevni politički život, a da se ne osjećaju da to nema svrhe zato što to već neko radi za njim. Da li vi kao visoki predstavnik, da li Milorad Dodik, Bakir Izetbegović, Dragan Čović ili već koji političar?
That's the key issue. I now have been in Banja Luka questions whether the president of the Republika Srpska has answered to my offer to meet. He has not. Okay, but this is not the key question. The key question is, what are the people in the Republika Srpska thinking and waiting? I'm working to get this done. And so this needs not only to hear on the people, on those political people like those you have named. I would say, let's turn it. Let's come to a kind of civic coalition. This coalition is a multi-ethnic coalition, and it does not clearly not say that I would not respect, and we should not respect, the individual and identity of people, of Serbish origin, of Bosniak, of Croat, or others. But just to sit and to say, wait a minute, is this really the only question in this country? And what can the international community contribute? European Union as well. So I think this that's not easy to be done, because you have to go around some of those people who think if they are not asked, they will be not constructive. Look, in my time as a minister in Germany, I had with the farm associations to do a lot of gray-haired presidents and very experienced people. And I said, no, I will ask now a network of young farmers what they are thinking. And it worked out. And then the gray-haired, all experienced representatives and presidents and vice presidents and blah, 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 they just came and waited to participate in this. This is my ideal understanding. Not the big ones are deciding about the as you said, the ordinary ones. We have to turn it around. I hope that I do get a lot of support. Some people probably are reserved because they are not quite sure whether they are risking their own personal situation here because everybody looks on the other. This is my experience after 30 years. Please ask those who are affected, and not only those just deciding sometimes not very good things about the ordinary people. And then they will get power.
Vi ste uspješan, u vašoj biografiji stoji da ste vi uspješan njemački političar. Da ste prošli put praktično iz jedne obične njemačke porodice i došli ste do vrlo visokih funkcija u njemačkom političkom životu. Sami ste rekli prije nego što ste došli ovdje da je kancelarka Merkel praktično vrlo učestvovala u vašem izboru i prijedlogu da budete na ovoj funkciji. Ona više nije u političkom životu Njemačke. Koliko ta činjenica, samo da se na trenutak osvrnemo praktično i na to, utiče na podršku koju ćete imati iz Njemačke? I na kraju krajeva, koliko je iskustvo vašeg rada i bavljanja političkom u njemačkom društvu uopšte primjenjivo u Bosni i Hercegovini? Vi ćete čuti čestu izjavu na našim ulicama u bilo kom gradu u ovoj zemlji, da je nešto dobro, ispravno, sigurno, to je Njemac napravio i budite sigurni da će to da traje. Njemačko društvo je mnogo stabilnije od našeg i koliko vi vaše iskustvo iz jednog stabilnog društva možete i da li možete i kako primjenjivati u jednom nestabilnom društvu kao što je naše?
Good news is I'm remaining in Europe. This is Europe, and the mentality and the values are probably the same. The situation is quite another, and I know I cannot come and say, okay, I know in Germany we do blah, 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 blah. That's another country with another customs, with another experience. So I have to start and be somehow a little bit humble to accept what is going on. But Konrad Adenauer said, basically, things are very simple. And I'm a fan of Konrad Adenauer, as I think the basic issues, whether you're contributing in a proper way to the issue and not to your personal positions. Some people here, honestly, not people, but some politicians give the impression that they are just working more for themselves than for the people. This is what I not want to do, and where probably I have some conflicts with them in dispute and discussion. But I think best is stay where you are, take your experience, but are open to adapt it to the new situation here. And this is my program I have, so I will not implement and do not want to implement anything. I thank Angela Merkel for helping and somehow encouraging me to go on there. We have, should I say, a common history as well in this country. I'm optimistic that the new government, German government, will continue. They look on Bosnia-Herzegovina and the neighborhood. Unfortunately, we have lost a little bit trace, and we have to learn and to see that it's not about steam and noise. Sometimes in the international community, if there's no steam and noise, thinks everything is perfect. No, it is not. So it's on me a little bit to work to get more consciousness that this is part of Europe where we have to work closely together.
Imali ste odmah po vašem dolasku jedan broj posjeta predstavnicima evropskih zemalja. Kakva su vaše iskustva? Da li postoje uopšte i koliki je taj interes za Bosnom i Hercegovinom u ovom trenutku? Podsjeću vas da rekli ste u jednom od vaših intervjua za Jutarnji list da je u stvari najveća prednost Dejtonskog sporazuma što je zaustavio rat, što se ne puca. Da li moramo biti i dalje žrtve tako niskog očekivanja, da 25 godina, četvrt vijeka nakon potpisivanja Dejtonskog mirovnog sporazuma, nama je glavno dostignuće tog sporazuma što se ne puca, a pitam vas to iz jednog prostog razloga, što je potpuno posebno pitanje, što da se u evropskim medijima pa i svjetskim mnogo priča o budućem mogućem ratu u Bosni i Hercegovini.
You're absolutely right. Dayton, the biggest achievement is that it stopped the war. The development which builds on Dayton requests a lot of commitment of the responsible people in the area and in Europe as well. And there is something not working as we had expected in Dayton. If it would work, I would not be here. Honestly, because it's Dayton would be somehow part of the past and Europe part of the future. What is now to be done? I do not see that there is a danger of war. I have turned around and met in all neighboring countries, starting with Belgrade, Budapest, Zagreb. Now Skopje, and we'll go to Pristina and Ljubljana, and they all have one single idea. Let us do everything to not to have preventing it, to prevent a war, and all were very optimistic. But if we are talking about dissolution, readjusting the region, everybody knows that a dissolution with all the impacts could cause a lot of tensions, and nobody wants to have tensions. I do not say that this causes war, but my message is be responsible, answer to your to your people. What do you want to do? Not a tactics, because elections are next year, or there is any discussion about oxygen or what else. Just think, where do I want to bring my country to? And this can only be with all expectations of the neighbors. And I think they did a lot in the last month to prevent that somebody makes some adventures.
Negdje smo približili se kraju ovog razgovora, vaše vrijeme je ograničeno i negdje volio bi da ipak na kraju vratimo se tamo u stvari gdje smo počeli. Došli ste u Banja Luku, pokazujete da ste spremni da razgovarate. Da li se nadate da ćete idući put kad dođete u Banja Luku imati sagovornike strane institucija zvaničnih Republike Srpske i na koji način mislite da će se to uspjeti postići, pošto za sada djeluje da tu pomaka nema sa odlukom?
Should I say that's not on me, that's on those being my potential partners in talking. And I'm relatively sure that time will bring that things are changing. Look, now Mr. Dodek says somehow he does not talk with me. Shall I tell how often I have talked with him already in the recent years? So he did not say that he will not meet me 2 years ago, and so I'm sure he will probably change his mind again in due time. He is invited to talk, but to be very clear, he has not the single position whether one talks with anybody or not. I will invite as well the people, the opposition and others. And so let's wait and see. I come back. Elections are not about not talking, they are about programs and ideas. And I think there is a lot of things to be done for people who just instead of insulting others, should start explaining what they want to do.
Intervju je bio nedovršen, da vam ne postavim ovo pitanje, veoma je teško u stvari za kraj, ali moramo pričati o njemu. Problem i pitanje suočavanja s prošlosti u Bosni i Hercegovini. Upravo i njemačko iskustvo to pitanja je jako bitno. Da li vidite uopšte mogućnost sa ovolikom količinom, da tako kažem, otrova u javnom prostoru, da se to pitanje uopšte može pokrenuti?
I think this is a very, very sensible issue. I understand that beyond the Srebrenica, there are other places we have to talk, and this is not, has been over the last centuries, and this last century, not a place where only one people has been affected. So I think Jasenovac, other places in Serbia, places in Croatia, they have to be seen as well as some places where it's not about political positioning, but just to mourn about the victims. And me, as somebody who has worked with the Nuremberg trial to make the institute working, I think we have to look and sit. It's not the INSCO law, which has just made for me this discussion observing. I have seen that the reaction on this law showed that there have to be a lot of things to be discussed, not in the sense of winner or loser, but just in the sense of reconciliation. I'm not fantastic. I'm not a visionary. I know this is very, very complicated. But as somebody who has indeed coming from a country where we have plenty of historical relations, including which have been affecting this region of the world, I think I have some legitimation just to work and to invite that we work on this and not only have give the idea that we would exclude any victim of being mourned and remembered. I see sometimes that the past is discussed a lot, but the future is forgotten. I've seen the movie of Mrs. Spanic, Quo Vadis Aida. I think the most important scene is the last one, where young students, pupils, are standing and they are singing, playing, trying to do this of all ethnic denominations here in the region. And the question should be not only how do we mourn those being victims in the past, but what do we tell these young people how they shall have their future. And this is sometimes a little bit lacking in this country, and I will contribute to this.
Gospodine Schmidt, hvala puno na ovom razgovoru. Nadam se da ćemo imati priliku ponovno da razgovaramo za vrijeme vašeg boravka u Bosni i Hercegovini.
Thank you. Thank you.